So we're going to go to chapter 29, verse 20. So Aaron dies. By Yeruko Aidah, the whole congregation saw Kigava Aaron, that Aaron died. And Yevkuas Aaron Shloshim Yom, Kol Beis Yisrael. And Aaron died, and the whole people cried for Aaron for 30 days after Aaron died. Whole house of Israel. I just want to say, so Aaron dies on Hor Hahar, which we believe is in Jordan today. When I was in Saudi Arabia, the mashkiach for our hotel told me that he went into Jordan one time with his wife, and the Bedouins said to him, they didn't realize he was Jewish because he was dressed like an Arab and his wife looks Arab from an Arab country, and they said, we could take you to where Aaron died. And he went into this special mountain, and he said it was a built-up grave, and it was called the grave of Aaron. And it was a very powerful spiritual moment. And then I heard from another person that a rabbi, a very prominent Sephardic rabbi, I don't want to say his name, who had a trip with many, many Kohanim to the birthplace of Aaron, to the Mount Horahar, to the burial place of Aaron, and they did a Birkat Kohanim at that spot. Very powerful moment. So let's see what Rashi says. The whole congregation saw that Aaron died. What does that mean? Kishero Moshe ve'Elazar Yordim. Aaron will Yarad. When they saw Moses and Elazar going down without Aaron, Amru, they said, Heichanu Aaron, where's Aaron? Amru am Mace. Moses said to them, he's dead. Amru, Avshar Misha Amai Kineged Amalach, Vatsaras Amagifa, Yishlod Po Malcham. They said, is it possible that somebody who stood opposite the angel of death and stopped the plague, that the angel of death could move over him? Miyad Bikesh Moshe Rachamim. Immediately Moses requested mercy. The angels showed Aaron to them. Muta b'mita. They showed Aaron lying on the bed. Ra'u v'aminu. They saw him and they believed. Meaning to say, they couldn't believe that Aaron was dead. They couldn't believe it. So they had to show Aaron lying almost on a coffin. Now it says the whole congregation. This shows that when we have a great spiritual leader, we can't imagine that he's dead. That's what it was. You can't imagine. But the Torah makes a point of telling us that great spiritual leaders die. That's why it says that Miriam dies, it says Aaron dies, it says Moshe dies. And also it doesn't tell us where Moshe is buried. The Torah was worried about what we would do to Moshe's burial place. Then it says, in the verse, the people, and they cried for Aaron 30 days, Kol Beit Yisrael, the entire house of Israel. Anashim, the men and the women. They don't believe that it says this about Moshe Rabbeinu, that they cried for Moses for 30 days. It only says this about Aaron, because Aaron is the one, as Rashi says, Shaya Aaron Rodev Shalom Umateo Ava Beima Vale Mariva Ben Ishvi Ishto. Aaron was pursuing peace and always bringing love between litigants who are fighting and between a husband and a wife. Now you might say for a second, what's the big deal to try to make things work out? I can just tell you, from my limited experience, like, God forbid that I'm not saying I have anything. From my experience, you never win trying to make peace between people. The person who makes the peace is the one who gets beat up. He's doing something good, but that person never comes out clean. That person usually ends up being disliked by all the parties. So Aaron took this avodah, this holy task upon himself, and that was such a holy thing. Did I cut you off, Seth? Are you trying to say something?
No, I just think Aaron was beloved by Bnei Israel more than Moshe.
Yeah, it seems that way because it doesn't say I have to.
They were all after him, and he took all the heat, Moshe, and it looks like that Aaron, like you said, with Rashi's add-on, that he was a peacemaker of sorts. They wanted to just genuinely sit Shiva for him.
Yeah, but they did more than Shiva. They did Shlo Shiva.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yeah, so 30 days.
I meant.
And for Moshe, for Miriam, it was 7 days. And for Moshe, what does it say? For Moshe at the end of the Torah, it says,
For Moshe, it was also 30 days. It just wasn't, it doesn't say Kol Beit
Kol
Yisrael.
Beit Yisrael, right? Let's see what it says.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it says, Moshe Baravos Moav Shloshim Yom. But it doesn't say 30, Kol Beit Yisrael. It says Bnei Yisrael cried for Moshe, but not all of the house of Israel. So Moshe was mourned for 30 days, but Rashi there, this is the Rashi I was referring to. Rashi at the end of the Torah says, by Moshe, the males mourned for him. By Aaron, it was males and females, but by Moshe, it was only the males. He taught the Torah, he taught it to the males. Only the males mourned for him, but the women didn't mourn for Moshe. Yes, I mean.
Grammatically, when I'm talking about Bnei Yisrael versus Kol Yisrael, is it using Bnei Yisrael just regarding the men then? And then
So yeah, I think that you're right, that literally the Torah maybe the literal pshat doesn't draw that distinction that Rashi's drawing. But Rashi was trying to ferret out, or the source for Rashi, I have to check the Gemara, what was the source for Rashi? He was trying to ferret out the idea, I think, that is somewhat in the text, that Moshe's leadership, well, obviously it was incredibly great. He was not, he was a more polarizing personality. He fought with the rebels. He was the one who fought with the spies. He was and Aaron was the priest serving. So he was more popular, maybe. Yeah.
Well, Hashem rewarded him when Rabbi Yosef and I learned that it kept saying Elazar Beno with his son being able to see the ascension. So even Hashem was rewarding him with something that he didn't give Moshe.
That
Elazar gets to.
that he sees his descendant.
Yeah, he sees
He sees his children.
Correct.
That could also be because Aaron saw his children die. It could be. What?
Makeup.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like.
No, either way, Hashem's giving him
Yeah, Moshe's children.
kavod in a way
It's
that
a good
Moshe's
point.
not getting.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a good point. So it's saying that Aaron got this extra.
Rashi said it.
Rashi said it yesterday.
Yeah, I did. It's not my.
Okay, fine, very nice. Anyway, Kigava, that Aaron had died. Omer Anish and Metargim, the Hamis, whoever translate because Aaron died. Toa, it's a mistake. Elam came Metargim by Yeruvis Chazir. They appeared. Shalom Rabbeinu Zachron Vrach Kizem Amesh Borosh and Daha Ela Midrash Shenestaku on Me'akavod. Okay. Okay, so we generally take off, we generally glance over the Rashis that are grammatical. Rashi saying that means when Aaron died, not because Aaron died. So fine. Okay, so now we're up to the next pasuk. This is a very, very powerful. We just had this in the Daf Yomi recently. We had this in the Daf Yomi. Vayishma. We had this in the Daf Yomi where we said a couple of days ago, Vayishma Kenani Melech Harad Yoshev Negev. And Kenani, who was the king of the Arad, who dwelt in the south, heard Ki Yisrael Derech HaTarim. Children of Israel were coming by the way of the spies. Vayilachem Yisrael Vayesh Mimenu Shevi. Now we need to realize, when is this? They fought with Israel and they took captives. By the way, the Gemara cites this. We had this 2 days ago. The Gemara cites this pasuk to tell us that Canaanite who captures a Jew, he has acquired the Jew as a slave. We learn from here because it says Vayish Mimenu Shevi. Now, what year is this taking place in the wilderness? What year is this? This is what year? This is at the end of the 40th year, because they no longer have Aaron to daven for them. They no longer have Miriam. And all of a sudden, they're susceptible to attacks. And Moshe is old. It says, Vayishma Kanani, what are the years? Shama Shemetz Aaron. They heard that Aaron died. And so therefore, what are the years? V'nistalku ananei kavod kulu. The clouds of glory which have been protecting Bnei Israel now departed. Like it states in Rosh Hashanah, Amalek me'olam mitzuas margus Israel. Amalek has always been a lash of chastisement for Israel. Mizuman b'kol esu paranos, ready at all times to cause calamity. Yoshev HaNegev, who dwelt in the south, Zeh Amalek. This is Amalek, as it states, Amalek Yoshev be'eretz HaNegev. Amalek dwells in the area of the south, V'shinas l'shono, v'daber b'lashon Canaan. So Rashi is telling us something that is not intuitive. It says Kanani, but it doesn't mean Kanani. It means Amalek. It took me like years to really just understand this because it seems to fly straight in the face of the Pshat. The verse says the Kanani, the king of Arad, who dwelt in the south, heard this. And Rashi tells us, no, it wasn't Kanani who attacked him, Amalek attacked him. As it states, Amalek Yoshev Beretz Negev, because elsewhere it says Amalek dwelt in the south. So if that's the case, why does it say Kanani? Shina es Lashono Daber B'Lashon Canaan. Amalek was in disguise. Amalek changed their language to speak in Canaanite. They went to the Jewish people to pray incorrectly. They prayed for the Canaanites to fall into their hands. They weren't the Canaanites. Then the Jews saw them dressed like Amalekites. But their language was like Canaan. They said, Nispalel Stam. They said, let's just do a regular prayer if you give these people into my hands. I mean, it seems a little strange, but it's telling us maybe the point of this Rashi is don't be too specific with our prayers because we never really know what we're davening for. Then the verse states, Derech HaSarim, the root of the spies, Derech HaNegev, the root of the south, Shalchu B'Maraglim, which the spies went through. As it states, Vayahuv HaNegev, they ascended in the south. Alternatively, Derech HaSarim, Derech HaTayar HaGadol, by the way of the great scout, Nosei Lefneihem, which traveled before them, Derech Shoshes Yamim, Atur Lahem Menucha, to search out for them a resting place. Vayesh Mimenu Shevi, and they captured a captive from it. Eina Ela Shifcha Achas. Who did they capture? They captured one captive, one slave woman. That's also a very interesting, powerful thing. The whole thing was over one captive, the whole war that they're about to happen. And why would we even care? Meaning to say, the whole nation is overwhelmed by the fact that one person was captive. It was a slave woman. So okay, so
We carry
it has to be,
one
the
person.
commentaries explain it has to be that they captured a woman slave because if it was a man, they would have killed they weren't allowed to take them captive. So it had to have been a woman. Okay, go on. Yes, Jerry, you had a question.
Yes, why are they talking about the sea of reeds? You just said that this incident of fighting with the Amalekites or the Canaanites was in the 40th year. Here, this pasuk is referring back to the Sea of Reeds, which is 40 years earlier when they left Egypt. I don't understand.
Okay, first of all, you jumped ahead. We're not up to that verse yet, but Rashi is going to address that question. Rashi is going to address why it's talking about that. But you jumped ahead. We're not up to that yet, but it's a very, very good question. Rashi is going to tell us that they moved backwards, but we're not up to that yet, okay?
All right.
All right. Okay, so now the verse says, we're still into verse 2. It states, the Jewish people took a vow and said, if you give this people into my hand, I will segregate their cities. I will consecrate their cities to God. And God listened to Israel. And he gave the Canaanites over to the Jews. And they gave over them and their cities to God. They called that place Chorma. Rashi says, what does it mean by Yecharem same? Barigad, they killed them. They offered that to God.
What is the Hebrew definition of Chorma?
So that's what Rashi tells us. It means the segregated city. Chormei Gavoa. The segregated city. Where they killed the Canaanites or the Amalekites, and they gave the city over to God. But now we come to Jerry's question. Vayisumi Horahar Derech Yamsuf. They traveled from Horahar by the way of the Yamsuf as Eretz Edom, the land of Edom. Vatiksar Nefesh Ha'am Baderech, and the people their spirit grew short on the road. Rashi says, Derech Yamsuf, Kiven Shemes Aaron, Uvasa. Now we're going to get to your point, Jerry. Once Aaron died, Uvasa Aleim Mechamazu, this war of Amalek came upon them. Chazru Lachoreim, they went backwards. Derech Yamsuf, by way of the sea. Hua Derech Shechazru Ahem, this is the route which they turned back. Shenigzer Ahem Gzeres Miraglim. This was the same route that they went back when the spies decree was punished them. As it says, Usua Midbar Derech Yamsuf. Kan Chazru Lachoreim, here they went backwards. Sheva Masot, they turned back. Once Aaron died, they went back. They were so dejected with the loss of Aaron that they went back 7 journeys. As it states, B'nai Yisrael Nasumi Be'erot B'nai Yakan Mosera. They went from the wells of B'nai Yakan to Mosera. Shames Aaron, there Aaron died. So there's another reference that says in Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 6, that Aaron didn't die in Hor HaHar, but he died in this place that was called Mosera. So V'chiva Mosera Meis, Rashi says it's obviously a contradiction. He didn't die in Mosera. Hor HaHar Meis. He died in Hor HaHar. Elasham Chazru, this Abu Alav. There, the Israelites went back to Mosera and they mourned for Aaron. Bispidu, and they eulogized him, as though he was in their presence. V'tzeu b'dok b'masaot, go and check the journeys. V'timtsaim sheva masaot memosera ad Hor HaHar. So you'll see that there were seven journeys from Mosera until Hor HaHar. So this is what it means, that they went back 7 journeys. They went back 7 campsites. That's why it says Derech Yamsuf. They went back from the Hor HaHar 7 campsites backwards. You still have a question, Jerry? I see your hand.
Yes. Question. They were told to leave Egypt and never return. By going back 7 campsites back to the Sea of Reeds, they're on the border of Egypt, which is something
Right.
told never, stay away from Egypt. Never go.
It's a very good point, but they didn't actually go into Egypt, but they were coming dangerously close to. That's why Rashi says they did a sin after the spies came, they went back. And here, when they're in their mourning, it's often the case when people are in mourning, now we are dejected and we turn back and people second guess their decisions. So, but your point is right. They were coming dangerously close. They were threatening to leave. Oh.
Also, I'll point out what we said yesterday. And the cloud did not tell them that they were going to go through Edom, at least according to the pshat of the verses. Moshe's approach to ask the king of Edom for permission to go there meant that the cloud was not directing them either way. Because if the clouds did direct them, they don't need permission. They just go and do whatever the cloud tells them to do. So even in this verse, it says again, Nisvovet Eretz Edom. It means that because of this change of track, that they had to do something different and they weren't sure what to do.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so Rashi is going to explain a little bit about this also. It says they have to go around the land of Edom. Shalom Nisanam Lavor Ba'aretz. So he did not allow them to pass through his land. By the way, I'm very tired. I don't know if you noticed this. I just got hit with this exhaustion. Because last night I was telling Eliezer that when I was in Boston, all my flights were canceled. And then they canceled it at 9:00. Then I tried to get a train. All the trains were full or canceled. Then I tried to get a rental car. All the rental cars were canceled. So I just got an Uber. I said to the Uber, take me to New York. I tried to get him to take me to DC. I mean, he wouldn't take me to DC. Then on the way to New York, I was able to arrange somebody meet me, driver. He met me, and then he took me here. So I got home at 4:30. And of course, I don't want to miss the opportunity to rise early in the morning and to work on the Daf Yomi and the Torah before davening. So then it was so I didn't get too much sleep because the first Uber was a compact Uber. It was very small, so you couldn't stretch out your legs. But I'm not complaining. So many people were stranded, but I was able to make it back to study Torah with you. That's why I just got a little tired. Okay. But anyway, I was thinking in retrospect, maybe I should have taken a helicopter. The bus, I could have gotten a 1:30 bus, which would have got me into New York City at 6 a.m. I would have felt like a peasant doing that. So.
Where would you find the helicopter?
What?
Where would you find the helicopter?
No, I'm just kidding. No planes were flying. You're not going to find the helicopter. Okay, but and also I've never been in a helicopter, and I'm not going to start on a night of thunderstorms. But tiktzar nefesh am baderach, and the people's spirit grew short. B'torach haderach, with the hardship, shehuk shalem, it became very difficult for them. They said, "Achshav hayinu krovim l'kanes haaretz." We were so close to entering the land. V'anu chozrim acharenu, and now we're going to turn backwards. By the way, so which people are these? Are these the same people, the same generation of the spies? Or is this a totally different people? It's a totally different people. These are the children. They're making the same mistakes as their parents. That's what they said. Didn't our ancestors turn around? And they waited 38 years. Therefore, their souls became shortened by the affliction. Okay, we'll skip the rest of this Rashi.
How many years after the spies was this?
38 years.
38 years.
Because the spies were in year 2, and this is year 40.
Were the place that your Mashgiach told you, Mount Sin or Jebel Nebi Harun, that's the question marks that Steinsaltz says is where this is.
Yeah, it's not Harun.
And is that in Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't ask him the exact name.
Jebel Nebi Harun.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the one. That's
Jebel.
the one he thinks it is too, also from.
I know I didn't ask the Mashgiach what it is called in Arabic, but Jebel means mountain. And so Harun, I guess they're saying it's the same thing as Har, but I didn't ask him.
And that be.
Okay, that's good to know. So that there is
And the same
it's not a
epinemis.
secret thing. People seem to.
I know, but I'm sure not everybody identifies it. With it.
Maybe Harun would literally be the prophet Aaron.
Oh, Harun is Aaron, or Aaron's mountain.
Harun with an H.
Yes, that's why the Kohanim went. Very nice.
It says they've had tradition going a long way back, that this has been the site.
But they all have traditions. They have like multiple competing traditions there. Because every Bedouin who grew up in that place wants to say they want to give significance to it. Hey guys. All right, come on in. All right, we're gonna study. Okay, we still have a few minutes. You could study Rashi together. Neve, who's your friend? Eyal. What? Oh, yeah, cool. Come on in. Let's have a seat, Eyal. All right. So, okay. So now, what does the verse tell us? The people spoke to God and to Moses. Why did you take us up from Egypt to die in the wilderness? There's no bread and there's no water in the wilderness. Why have you brought us up from Egypt to die in the wilderness? There's no food and there's no water. And our soul is at its limit with insubstantial food. So it seems at first glance that they're saying the exact same complaints as the previous generation. Are they doing anything different?
Which Pasuk in?
We're in Pasuk chapter 21, verse 5. By the way, they didn't even go out. They weren't brought up from Egypt. They were born in the wilderness. These people. It's year 40.
Punishment is different, and
What?
the punishment is different, and they wouldn't have been born in the wilderness if we didn't leave Egypt.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But they're going to get punished here. Here's one of my favorite incidents in the Torah. God's going to send the fiery serpents. They made a sin here, but this is not the sin. Is a new generation. It's the same mistakes. Yeah. Okay. We're joined by Mo. Hopefully Mo made a lot of money today in his hedge fund. Mo, doing well? All right. So it says, hey, John, how you doing? So it says, she says, they equated a slave with his owner. Why have you brought us up? Shneim Shavim. Both of them were equal, meaning to say, they said, God and Moses, we blame you, both of you. They're disgusted. And this is God gives them the man, and they criticize the man, and they call it the disgusting food or the insubstantial food. So because the man was absorbed into the body parts, they called it insubstantial. Amru atira manazeh sheyispach bim me'enu. This man is going to blow up in our stomach. They couldn't understand how the man just getting absorbed. I guess maybe they were like not excreting the man. They weren't
Definitely.
going. What? So they said, so they weren't defecating. They said it's going to explode in us. Wow.
Until this day, NASA is trying to find the man in order to send it to space because they won't have to go to the bathroom.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. So you see that the more things change, the more they stay the same. This is a very, very underrated. Everybody focuses on Chukas. They focus on the first part of the parsha, the Parah Aduma. But every scene in this parsha is so powerful. Every scene is so powerful. It's rich with begging for interpretation. Let's stop a mincha now. Shikach.